Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Health Movement Podcast. I'm Derek, your host. And tonight, whenever you're seeing this, it's just going to be me. I'm going to do one or two solo ones while I understand the live streaming software and get all that going, but I'm still going to produce the shows. I just don't want to put the guests through any technical difficulties. A couple things first. Thank you all for joining me and listening again. We have a live show coming up on June 18th. It's a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Joining us will be Chris Bachman, Kate Clark, Joel Diego, Sam Coop, and Kevin Stark. I think I got the alphabetical part right again. Those five will be joining us. We'll probably go for about an hour. Hop on, ask questions, do whatever you'd like to do, interact, or just listen to the show as we go. Definitely will take fan questions, but we also have kind of a process as well. So if you just want to come on and listen, that works too. Also, please, if you could give some follows on YouTube or subscribe, whatever it is. I haven't really done as much with that piece of it, but trying to build that side of the podcast up a little bit more. So if you can give us like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, super, super helpful. So, with that said, I'm going to move on. First thing is, I'm not a doctor, so check with your physician before you start or change any programming. But what I wanted to do today is I think this is episode 44. So I've been doing this for a while, which is pretty cool considering the fact that something like 90% of podcasts don't get to 10 episodes. And maybe 50% only get past 3. So kind of cool that we're on 44 right now, and I still use the pronoun we, because Timmy's always welcome here. For those of you who are relatively new, he was my co-host when I started, but he got a new job and new career as a firefighter EMT, and obviously that takes precedence over the podcast. So always wishing Tim the best of luck and really happy for him. But what I wanted to do today is reflect on a few of the key points that we've talked about over the last 6, 8, 10 months, however long it's been, that keep coming up, recurring themes. And this is going to be a shorter episode, maybe 20, 25 minutes, if that. But I really just wanted to make sure that I simplify this as much as possible. And to be honest, health is not overly difficult. I think in the grand scheme of things, people understand sitting down all day is not good for you. Eating crap is not good for you. Sleeping all day, not good for you. You do need sleep, but there are certain things that we know aren't great. Water is good for you. Sleep is good for you. Not during the day. But what I want to do is quickly go through. There are 5 main key points I wanted to hit. Go over a few studies and articles that will kind of back up what I'm talking about, and then give you a quick little summary about what's coming up in the next month or two, and go from there. So there are 5 main areas I want to talk about, and before we really get started, one thing that I didn't write down, but it is so prevalent with overall health. People seem to equate a number on a scale as something that's really, really important. And while you should be in some threshold, like, there's a healthy weight range, 130 pounds, 120 pounds, 180 pounds, whatever you happen to be, 200 pounds, can look very, very different on different people. That is your total mass, is that amount of weight is what it weighs, but it's not differentiating between water weight, body fat, lean muscle mass, skeletal mass, like all these different things go into that weight. So when people talk about, I want to weigh a certain amount, the focus really should be, I want my body fat percentage to be in a certain range. And there's definitely a healthy range. And for men and women, it's different. Women are generally, 7% higher than men, just basic biology and the way that the body is set up. Women carry more fat than men do, but it doesn't necessarily show. So that didn't come out right. Anyway, when you go to talk about body recomposition and the way you want to look, the body fat percentage is what you should be looking at. And again, yes, you want to look a certain way. Everybody has that image of themselves that they're going for, but it's all the other benefits that come into it. So if I can hammer home 2 points here before I really get started, is stop worrying about the scale. It can help track progress, but I could eat 1,000 calories a day for 3 weeks and not do anything, or I can eat 2,500 calories a day for 3 weeks, work out, lift weights, make sure I get my steps in, and I could weigh the exact same weight after 3 weeks. But the first example, my body fat percentage might be at 25%. The second example, it might have dropped to 22, 21%, and I'm much healthier. I have more energy. So that's a huge piece, is don't worry about the number as much as we go forward. So number one thing, clean up your nutrition. It's simple, not always easy though. A lot of the foods that we eat, and then not to get political or anything like that, but there are definitely changes going on with food in America and what's allowed and what isn't. You see a lot of the artificial dyes and flavors and preservatives being banned, which, regardless of your political views, cleaner food is better for everybody in the long run. So when you try to eat healthy, prioritize protein from lean meats for the most part, chicken, fish, ground beef, steak, whatever you're going to eat that you enjoy and be consistent. That's huge. You want to aim for a pound of desired body weight in grams of protein. So if you want to be 180 pounds, eat 180 grams of protein. That is the simplest way to think about it. And if you're eating clean, whole foods, for the most part, you're going to lose weight. It is hard to eat a lot of protein, and it fills you up. You're not going to be hungry for that other stuff, especially if you start your day with a good, healthy protein and get enough calories in. It makes a huge difference. There was a study done by the National Institute of Health, which showed that heavily processed foods, not only are the foods themselves not healthy for you, and there's a buzzword with that too. I'm not labeling food as good or bad, but whatever food you decide to eat will affect the body in certain ways. So if you're eating whole food, that's going to have a lot more benefits than a heavily processed food. But one big problem with heavily processed foods is that it causes overeating and weight gain. One of the biggest things people don't understand when you look at sugar-free sodas or sugar-free energy drinks or anything, Jello, whatever they happen to be, where they put that sugar substitute in, your body, when it tastes that sugary food, is expecting sugar to enter the bloodstream and be in your body, but it's not getting that. So it's still going to be craving that even after you have that zero sugar thing. So the zero sugar is, it's not sugar, but you're going to have the cravings afterwards. You have to be really, really careful with that sort of thing, because it's the processed foods are really spiking your appetite, as opposed to mostly whole foods that will keep you satiated and keep you feeling full. And you digest the food a lot slower. If you have simple carbohydrates, if you're having a bowl of cereal for breakfast, which tastes great, your body is blowing through that in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You're going to be hungry again in an hour. If you have eggs, bacon, avocado, fruit, whatever it happens to be for breakfast, yogurt, it doesn't matter, as long as it's, mostly whole foods there, you're going to be fuller longer, and you're not going to need those extra foods because your body's getting what it needs. So that was from the National Institute of Health, and the Global Wellness Institute also breaks this down, defining what a processed versus a whole food is. And if you're not sure, look at the ingredients. If it comes in a box or a package and there's a list of ingredients, it's processed on some level. Now there are heavily processed foods, and then there are some that are slightly processed, and you're not going to get away from all of it. But when you open up a bag of peanuts or look at a bag of peanuts and it just says peanuts, that's not processed. If it says peanuts with salt and it's adding all these other things to it, that's lightly processed. There are some that are even more. But then if you look at peanut butter and it's got 12 to 15 ingredients, that's a much more processed food than a natural peanut butter that's got maybe salt and peanuts and that's it, and maybe a little bit of olive oil or whatever they add to it. But there's a difference. Look at the label, look at the ingredients, and make a decision from that. Look for 80% whole foods. It's different than what we're looking at and what we're used to, but it is a lot easier once you get into the flow of things. The first week or two might be confusing, but honestly, reach out. Send me a message. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can email us. There's a newsletter. Go to the healthmovement.us and leave an email. Send a comment in this. I'm not going to charge you for this sort of thing. I'm not even taking on clients right now. My focus is on this. This isn't monetized. There's no money coming in from this. It's a passion, and I want to see people get healthier. Ask questions. Ask for help. If not me, somebody, there are plenty of people I'm sure that understand the stuff and are willing to help. So ask for help. It can be tough, but ask for it. The second thing is resistance training. You have to do some form of resistance training. It doesn't have to be heavy weights at the gym. You can get bands. You can get body weight. You do 100 just body weight squats, you're going to feel that. Do 5 push-ups at a time, 10 push-ups at a time if you can. If you have to do them on your knees, do them on your knees. But the one thing you want to make sure you're doing is balancing out the body. If all you're doing is push-ups and squats, you're hitting your chest and your legs, you're leaving your back, you're leaving your biceps, you're leaving your, get some of your shoulders with the push-ups depending on the variations. But you need to be doing some of everything. Good thing about building muscle, and before I get into that, I hear from people they don't want to get too bulky, so they don't want to lift weights. You're not going to get too bulky. If it was that easy, do you know how many jacked people we'd see walking around because they lifted too many weights? You have to eat a certain way in order to provide your body with the fuel it needs to build that much muscle. You will tone up. You will develop lean muscle. But unless you're feeding the body in a severe, or it doesn't have to be severe, but in a caloric surplus, you're not going to put on muscle or bulky muscle. Now, when you start doing resistance training, your body will build muscle. You'll also lose fat. One thing that happens because of this is your metabolism will start to go up, your metabolic rate, and you will be able to eat more food because your body will require more food. Muscle needs to be fed. So one thing that people do, and it's concerning, and depending on who you're working with, if you're hiring a trainer or a coach or something like that, you want to make sure that your caloric intake does not fall below a certain threshold. It is okay to eat more and move more and lift more. That's fine. I would so much rather have you eating 2,500 calories a day and lifting weights and moving enough as opposed to dropping down to 1,500 calories a day. Because what's going to happen is your body is going to reach a balancing point. So if you are taking in 1,500 calories a day and you're trying to drop your body weight, not doing any resistance training, first of all, you're just losing muscle. You're not really losing fat. But you'll get to a point your body will eventually level off at a weight. And let's say you're at 170 pounds and you're trying to get to 130 or whatever it is. You might drop down to 155, 150, and then stop losing weight. At this point in time, if you want to continue to lose weight, you either have to move a lot more or drop the calories even lower. And eventually you get to the point where you need to only eat 1,000 calories a day if you want to maintain that low body weight. But the problem with that is that's not sustainable. It's not healthy. It's not good for you. So what I'd much rather see you do is get in some resistance training, start lifting weights, building that lean muscle mass, and eating more. That way you're fueling the body. And there's a little bit more we'll get into in a minute, but that way you can, it's called a reverse diet. You build up that muscle. So your body no longer is requiring 15 to 1800 calories a day. You've put on enough muscle where you might need 2200 calories a day just to maintain 23, 25, whatever it happens to be. Then when you want to go and do a little bit of a cut for some body recomposition, you could cut down to 2200 calories a day. Still eat a decent amount so you're fueling the body the way you need to. Really, really important. The resistance training will allow you to fuel the body the way it should be fueled. Don't get into the habit of, I'm going to eat way less and move way more. It's not sustainable and it's not healthy. Number 3, aim for 10,000 steps a day. The average American right now is only moving about 4,000 steps a day. That is insane. And that was a study done with about 227,000 people, which is not what we want. So aim to get the 10,000 steps. And it doesn't have to all be at once. If you're one of the people who's, I mean, if it's an average, some people are getting way less than that. But if you're only moving 3,000 steps a day, don't jump right to 10. Aim for 4,000 steps for 2 weeks and aim for 5,000 steps after that, and build that into your day. There are plenty of different ways to get it. Park further away wherever you work. If you're going to the grocery store, park at the end, at the end. Don't take the elevator, take the stairs. If you have injuries or something that makes stairs difficult, try it once and then take the elevator the rest of the day. Or whatever you have to do to slowly build up those steps. If you have to take a work call, go for a walk while you take the call. You don't have to be on FaceTime or have the video on. You can go for a walk for an hour while you're on a work call. There's a decent amount of steps right there. But build it into your life. And another thing with the steps, don't do it all at once. You don't want to hit 10,000 steps by 9 a.m. and then end the day with 12,000 steps, because then you're not moving the rest of the day. It's better to get, 4,000 by 10, then get another like 3,000 by 2, and then another 3,000 later. Go for a 20-minute walk after lunch, after dinner, whatever it happens to be, but you got to move. You have to move. That's number 3. Number 4, this one is tough for a lot of people. You need to sleep. You will find that if you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, you're going to lose more weight than if you're only sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night or 5 hours a night. Your body works better. And also, while you're sleeping, you're not eating. So that's a tough part too that people don't really understand. But I noticed this myself. This was probably about 2 years ago where I was staying up later than I probably should have, maybe getting 4.5 hours of sleep. And I realized I was sluggish. My workouts had turned to crap. I wasn't gaining muscle. I wasn't really losing weight. And the only switch I made was I made sure I got to bed earlier and I slept in a half hour later. So I was hitting 7 hours of sleep. Everything changed. I started building more muscle. I was getting more defined. I had more energy. I was thinking more clearly. The 7 hours of sleep minimum is huge. And there are a lot of other studies that have these other side effects where if you're getting enough sleep, cognitively, you're so much sharper than you were before. Business-wise, sales-wise, if you're a salesman, you need to be able to speak. You need to be able to have conversations. You have to think on your feet. When I was training a baseball team, there's a youth baseball team in town that I was training, and I was trying to explain to the kids that your reaction time drops significantly. If you're up for 17 hours straight, by the time that 17 hours hits, you have a BAC, a blood alcohol level of 0.02, which isn't, in the illegal limit or anything like that. It was 0.025, but it's starting to grow. And if you hit that 24 hours, you're over the legal limit in terms of reaction time and how your body reacts. You got to make sure you're getting enough sleep on that one. That is big. And there are a ton of studies on that. You can go, at the Karger's got one that talks about how your bone mass and your muscle mass builds as you're sleeping. And one of the misconceptions that people have is that muscle is built in the gym. It's not. That's not where your muscle is built. Your muscle is broken down in the gym. You put it through a stress, muscle fibers tear. And the only time they get repaired is during rest. If you're not sleeping enough, you're not allowing your muscles a chance to repair themselves. You're not allowing your body a chance to relax and shut down and get rid of old damaged cells. And there's a whole process and a whole. I could do a couple shows on the importance of sleep, but 7 hours. Get your 7 hours of sleep. And the fifth thing, and this is another simple one, you got to stay hydrated. We beat this, we talk about this all the time. Water is so important, especially with your metabolism, and there are things that don't count. If it's not water, it doesn't count as water. You should be drinking a lot of water. It talks about 8 cups a day, 10 cups a day. It's not, it's the simplest way to look at it. If your pee is clear or close to clear, you're fine. If it's not, you need more water. You can think about it just like that. But coffee is not water. Beer is not water. Wine is not water. Gatorade is not water. There are times for those drinks. I'm not saying don't ever drink those, but you need to focus on water as much as possible, as much as you do on your nutrition and on your sleep. And on your resistance training and your recovery. So it's incredibly, incredibly important. So just a quick review to recap: nutrition, prioritize whole foods, hit your body weight and grams of protein. You need to do resistance training. It builds muscle. And one of the biggest indicators for longevity is leg muscle strength, which seems weird. But the stronger your legs are, the more easy it is to move, less likely to have injuries. And also your body works better the more muscle you have. If you think about, if you're carrying a lot of fat, and this is kind of a strange way to think about it, but it makes sense that your heart has to work so much harder. If I were to weigh 250 pounds, my heart has to pump blood to 250 pounds of me. If I'm able to cut to a healthy weight, 185, 190, 200, whatever it happens to be, now my heart doesn't have to work as hard to get blood throughout my body. It's simple things like that your body is not meant to carry a lot of excess fat like that. It is meant to be lean. We're meant to be moving. We're meant to be expending energy the right way, and if you want to get those 10,000 steps in, play a game, run around outside, play pickleball, which is huge now, basketball, play frisbee golf. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you get moving, that's huge. Sorry, I got lost track of time there, or lost track of what I was saying. But 1, clean up your nutrition. 2, resistance training. 3, move 10,000 steps a day. 4, prioritize sleep. 5, stay hydrated. It's really simplified that way. It's not easy. And you don't need to do all 5 of those things at once. The goal here is longevity. There is no end date beyond, not to be morbid, but the day you die, that's your end date. So you have your whole life to get this going. And the earlier you start, the better. The best time to start would have been when you're a kid and you just continued that into adulthood. The next best time to start is today, right now. Don't say, oh, I'm going to wait till summer. Oh, I'm going to do this. Don't do it. Do it now. Make a plan today, make a plan tomorrow, and get started. You need help, reach out. I am happy to help however I can. I'll answer all the questions you want. If you want to hop on a call even, we'll set up a time. We'll do all that. So what you want to do, what you really, really want to do is make a plan, go through those steps, and figure out when you're going to make the changes you need to make. Because the goal, again, is longevity. That's what we need to do. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I can't stress enough how much I appreciate all the downloads, all the views. And it's still shocking to me that people people download and listen. But it's flattering and it's incredibly humbling. So the goal is to just keep this thing rolling, and it's slowly growing. And even if this keeps going 5, 10, 15 years, I will be just as humbled then as I am now by everybody that downloads and listens. So thank you so much. Again, June 18th is going to be the live show on YouTube. You can just go to our page. From what I can tell, I'm going to do a few more practices. It should just pop up. Please subscribe. That's going to help out a ton too. Leave comments, likes, do all that stuff. So thank you once again. Have an awesome night, day, whenever you're watching this. And I guess I'll see you later.